All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pitch Catcher Pod. My name is Eli Swice,
And I'm Joey Fernandez.
and we are going to be diving into some MLB news. Trade deadline is coming up, so it's going to be a fun one. Got a lot of things to talk about, and yeah, so I'm just excited to get right into it. As always, we'll start off talking about our own teams, which we both probably dread.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, go ahead, take it away. What is going on with the White Sox?
well, I hear a weird noise right now. I'm not sure what that is. Uh,
What does it sound like?
it's like a stat. Oh, it's gone. All right. Well, with the White Sox, I mean, things were looking up before today. They suffered a brutal ninth inning loss today with Kendall Graveman walking three hitters in a row, and then giving up a single for against the Colorado Rockies. But besides that, I mean, the division's there for the taking. I mean, the Twins also got blown out by the Brewers today, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But at the same time, there's just constant lingering issues with this team, whether it's the bats not coming through when they need to, or the bullpen just blowing up, or the starting pitching that you needed to rely on before the season. Just not coming through either. With whether it's Lucas Giolito, Lance Lynn, Kendall Graveman, even Liam Hendricks sometimes. There's just constant mishaps happening. Like it just seems like they find a different way to lose constantly, whether it's a base running error or just a fielding error or just like I said, the starting pitching. So it's been a very frustrating season, but the AL Central is the most mediocre division in baseball, so they can
Hmm,
they can easily still make the
maybe besides
playoffs.
the NL Central.
I mean, they're really fighting for it right now, but
Yeah.
yeah, uh, I don't really believe in the Twins too much, so I think that it's definitely still a possibility for the team to find a way to make the playoffs, but I'm definitely not confident.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So, a lot of people have Twins over Guardians or Guardians over Twins, just in terms of comparing those two teams. Personally, I mean, assuming nothing happens at the trade deadline, I'm Guardians over Twins. Are you on the same boat?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Guardians are just such a good, fundamentally sound baseball team, and they don't really make mistakes. They're never going to really blow you away with their talent, but they're just always going to play the right way, and it just they're scrappy. I mean, it's tough to play them. If you make a mistake in the field, they're always going to take the extra base on you. I recall like 4 or 5 times in the White Sox series where they would get a hustle double just because the center fielder may have not been running for the ball or just kind of lollygagging a little bit. And it's tough to beat teams like that because they're always putting pressure on the defense. And when a team isn't fundamentally sound, they can steal a couple rounds every game.
Yeah. Hold on, give me a second.
hmm Yeah, and I mean, as far as the Twins go, they also don't really seem like the most. I don't know. They don't seem like a huge threat just because a lot of their pitching just I don't believe in personally. I think their lineup's very strong. I think it's the strongest out of the three personally, and they put the ball in the air a lot. But I just don't. I don't believe in their pitching staff, and I'll continue to say that.
You think they do anything at the deadline?
I think they're going to be strong contenders for Castillo, but ultimately, I think that the Yankees get them. So I don't. I I think they'll pick up maybe a bullpen arm, maybe a starting pitcher, but I don't see them getting into the high tier guys that really put them over the edge or anything like that.
What do you think that the Sox do? Do you think they
Um.
even make a move that's big?
Oh no, not big. I'd like them to. Well, it depends on what you think big is. I think they could get one of the better relievers on the market, maybe. Besides that, I don't really see them making any too big of splash moves. I think they need a couple bullpen arms, especially since Joe Kelly left hurt today, and Uh, I think they could get maybe a lower tier starter that can eat up some innings for them, possibly, just because Michael Kopech maybe get into the fatigue stage of his season, just because he hasn't thrown this many innings ever. So I could see that, and then a left-handed bat's definitely needed, like a Ben Gamel or something like that. I mean, I know it's a random name, but I heard that mentioned earlier today. So I mean. besides that, nothing really. I think it's more about the quantity more than the quality, honestly. Just because they just kind of they don't really have the farm system to go out and make a huge move. So I think
Yeah.
it's just more so the just improving depth.
Um, Thinking about what moves they can make. I mean, what's going on with Giolito? Because starting pitching was something that wasn't really a concern for me, but now it
Uh huh.
is.
Yeah. Um. Well, his velocity has been down for one, and his spin also has been not the same as it typically is. So it's becoming a bit of an issue, honestly. I'm kind of worried. Not gonna lie. I think he's had some tough luck in some of his starts today. He went 5 innings, 3 earned, so it's not like the worst thing in the world. But he doesn't have those dominant starts anymore where you feel like, all right, he's locked in and he's gonna be shut down. It's always him pitching the contact, and he's kind of a two pitch pitcher right now because his slider he really hasn't threatened much hitters with it. So it's it's a little troubling. I think Cease becoming and stepping up the to be the ace of the staff eases my worry a little bit, but at the same time, with the playoffs, say the playoffs come, who's going to be the three starters? I mean, I know Dylan Cease is obviously going to be one, and I would honestly put Johnny Cueto over him right now. And it's up to Kopech, Lynn, or Giolito to step up for that third spot. I mean, I'm talking hypothetical here. That's even if they make it, but they're gonna need all those guys to do their part if they even want to have a chance of being there.
Yeah. And even in a theoretical Michael Kopech start, I mean, in
Uh-huh.
the playoffs, we're talking 5 innings probably at most. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
so
Yeah,
it's
because
it's tough. It's probably gonna, you know, bullpen is a huge need, and it's so weird saying that coming from in the beginning of the year we thought it was a super pen, and it looks like it on paper. Then Crochet gets hurt, Kimbrel gets traded. Not that like we really thought Kimbrel was going to be a part of the future.
yeah,
Joe, I mean, I guess he's been good of late, but
yeah,
he was terrible his first couple outings out there.
yeah,
And him being hurt doesn't help at all. So
yeah.
I
And
don't know.
Aaron Bummer has also been a huge loss.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big
Uh,
one. Maybe you guys can take one of our relievers off, or maybe go for like a Baltimore reliever.
yeah,
Maybe go for Daniel Bard.
I was liking maybe a Dylan Tate move. I know that's more of an expensive arm, I would think. I like the idea of Joe Mantiply also because we
Hmm.
desperately need a lefty horribly. Like our only lefty in the pen right now is Tanner Banks. So I mean, I don't really like banking on that. I there's just not many options on the left-handed reliever market right now. I mean, there really never is. It just kind of sucks that those are the guys that have gotten hurt, but uh I mean, that's why I think a Jose Quintana move also could help them a lot, also because he could be a long reliever slash spot starter when he's needed. So
Yeah, yeah, nothing wrong with a little reunion over there. Um, I wanted to kind of, I guess, so some people I've seen, and I don't agree with this. They
uh
think the White Sox should be sellers in terms of maybe shipping off someone like Abreu, or I don't even like someone else, but I don't understand that. Uh, With Abreu playing so well, and
huh.
you guys, I guess, I mean, probably not signing him after the year unless it's a really good contract, I would assume. What are your thoughts on entertaining maybe shipping him off and having Vaughn play first? Because Vaughn is one of the worst fielders in the league, hands down.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though
He's
he's a great bet.
he's a first baseman playing right field. It's just never gonna go well. Uh, I mean, you can't really entertain it at all, honestly. I think there's still a decent chance that he's back next year, personally, and I think this is the team's title contention window, and you
Hmm.
can't really just abandon it, especially with the division seat still being within grasp and even a wild card spot, I guess. So I just don't see a world where that's even a possibility, honestly. I mean, it would help the farm, don't get me wrong, but I just don't see the White Sox remotely selling, and I see them going the complete opposite way personally, just because that I mean, they're in no position to rebuild or retool even. their team's kind of set in the first place, and you kind of just got to ride it out and hope the players perform better than they have.
Yeah, and I would absolutely agree. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, I feel like every single podcast we're like, yeah, the Sox aren't great, but we think they'll be better, and they have
Yeah,
been better as of late, but they're still not in first, and we're hitting August. Very easy schedule coming up. This
yeah,
is the time, and even if we don't think they'll make it far in the playoffs, just getting there is that first step. Because you
yeah,
never know. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. So I still
yeah,
think they make it. I do think it is going to be tight. I don't think they're going to win the division by 5, 6 games. Um, and I do see the Twins making some sort of deadline move in terms of the starting pitcher. Um, I think it's going to be more of a low key pitcher
yeah.
because that's what
That's
they need. But
yeah, that's the kind of moves they tend to make too.
yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for the rest of the division. Um, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for a little race. I know you would much rather have them out in front by
Yeah,
15 games, but it's all good.
it just feels like an uphill battle at this point, which it is, but it just
Yeah,
the whole season has felt like that. It's pretty draining, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, yeah. So we'll hop off of the Sox. But we will go to the Cubs, which is interesting scenario right now. So as everyone probably knows, Hap Contreras should get traded in the next couple days. Um, I don't I It's interesting because it feels weird because of the send off that we gave them yesterday, but they should be in uniform tomorrow. Actually, Contreras might not be, just to give him rest because they want him to get injured. I would expect Hap to be in the lineup, and it just feels weird, kind of saying goodbye, but also keeping him for now. But they'll be gone soon. And here's my thing with it. I mean, we've talked about it before. I personally think the move, depending on the return, it's always depending on the return because you never know what teams are offering, right?
Of
So
course, yeah.
you have to keep that in mind. Contreras is a leader, and he's a leader through and through, and you see it in the dugout, you see it on the field. If an extension is reasonable, I think that's the move. I know a lot of people disagree, and I'm not discounting the fact that we could get a good return for him because I do think, depending on the return, it's a really good decision to trade him. But it's an interesting scenario because I think every World Series team has an older veteran player who is a leader. And you saw it with the Cubs back in 2016. That was David Ross. He was what, 37 or he was insanely old.
Hmm.
He was a leader. Dexter Fowler was an older outfielder who was leading some of these young guys like Kyle Schwarber. Um, and I don't know. I just don't know who that could be now if Contreras is gone. And I'm not saying you can't win without a veteran leader, but he's that guy. And if an extension is reasonable, if the price is reasonable, look, he's the best hitting catcher in the league right now. And it's tough because the Cubs are in this weird scenario where you don't even really know the direction. If you're like an outsider, it's kind of like, what are they doing? This team sucks. They're like the Reds, but they signed Marcus Stroman. Like, what are they doing? But I'm kind of getting a clearer picture of what's going on. But he's going to be gone, regardless. He's going to be gone, and I'm fine with that. Come to terms. It just depends on the return, and I would honestly rather have them end up packaging him and Hap, him and Robertson, um, to get a fair deal out of it. And my thing is, if you're gonna trade Contreras and you're gonna trade Hap, we got to get rid of these kind of fill-in guys. You know what I mean? Like we got to get rid of Wisdom, we got to get rid of Schwindel, we got to get rid of Ortega, um, we got to get rid of Robertson, we got to get rid of Chris Martin, we got to get rid of Givens. All of these guys, like the relievers, they can help other teams. Patrick Wisdom can help a contender. I think he's on pace to break the strikeout record actually, which
Actually,
is, I think he is.
I didn't know that.
But still, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he's had a rough couple of last weeks. but you're still getting an average hitter. I'm not going to gas him up and act like he's like some god, but he's a guy
Mhm.
who can hit you 25, 30 bombs, play good defense, and 105 to 110. He's at 111 WRC plus. I mean, he's an above average hitter slightly. He can help out a team in a DH role or at third base, whatever you need.
No doubt.
Ortega can help out a team, even like the Sox, a left-handed bat who's decent. Um, Look, they're not going to be part of the future, obviously, or else we're screwed. So my idea is if you're shipping off these cornerstones such as Contreras and Hap, you got to ship out everyone. You got to try to get some value for Schwindel. You got to try to get some value for Wisdom and Ortega because these guys aren't the future. I mean, we have Rivas at first base. We also have Mervis in Double A or in Triple A now, and I think he's the guy of the future for now. But regardless, Rivas is 25 and Mervis is 24. Like 31-year-old Schwindel is not going to do anything in the next couple of years. Um, get some value out of him. Wisdom's not the guy for the future. I love him. He's not the guy. And Ortega is Ortega. He's okay. He's an okay fielder. So I think just ship out everyone then. Not in a way where like you're it's a fire sale. Ship out everyone that's not going to be playing next year or the year after. And I think a lot of those guys fit into that category. And then we have a lot of relievers that are good. And just like last year with Tapera and Chafin, you're going to be seeing Robertson go, obviously. You're going to be seeing probably Givens. You're going to see probably Martin, even Wade Miley, possibly, depending on his rehab start. I'm kind of excited to just see what we get for all those guys. But it hurts. It hurts seeing Hap. Do you sympathize more with me on Hap than Contreras? I know Hap's value is the highest it's ever been, and he's known to be a streaky guy, but he's had a really, really good first half and onto the second half. He's
Um,
young-ish. What are your
yeah,
thoughts?
I sympathize with Hat more. I think Contreras is a no-brainer trade, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I know it hurts, obviously, because he's had the playoff moments and he's just been with the Cubs for so long. But I just think it's the catcher market is too. I don't know how to say it, but there's never catchers like this don't come around to trade that often, and teams
They
are
also don't
willing to
come
give
around
up.
to extend.
That's true, but I think he just fits. He doesn't fit into the window as much as Hap does, so I understand. And I think it's hit or miss on whether Ian Happ is worth trading or not, honestly, because these guys don't grow on trees. I mean, it's not always easy to find guys like this, but at the same time, if you can find a good enough package and you could maybe package a reliever along with them or something like that, I think it's worth it personally. It just really depends on the package, honestly. That's why it's hard to talk about hypotheticals because I don't know exactly what they're going to get for him. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess we'll throw out some trade destinations. We've heard of a lot of teams linked to these players. Um, who do you think they're going to?
I think the Mets makes a lot of sense for Wilson, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I can't really think of too many other teams, to
It's
be
tough.
honest.
I mean, the Astros have checked in. I don't think the Astros do it. Um,
Yeah, just because of the package and how much it would
yeah,
cost.
I, I mean, the Padres have checked in. We even talked about a Hap and Contreras package, which I mean, if we're gonna trade both of them, might as well trade them both to the Padres and get Gore and maybe Abrams and then someone in the minors.
I'd be excited for that,
I
if
would be.
personally.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like, might as well maximize the value of both.
yeah. I think there's a chance, honestly, that you get maybe a Hassel or a Gore. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's questionable. I think the Mets are definitely willing to pay the price. That's why I think it would be them. But I mean, they have some nice prospects also. If you could get a Brett Beatty or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
if you package him and Robertson, so it could be very interesting. I think the Mets makes a lot of sense. And then as far as the Padres go, I want to say Ian Happ because I don't think they're gonna get Soto.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the Padres will end up with Soto or Hap.
That's what
One
I'm
of them.
saying. Yeah.
They need that bat. I'm I honestly like the Blue Jays intrigued me when I saw that headline that the Blue Jays are checking on Hap. That's interesting. I didn't really
They
think
des-
about that.
they desperately struggle against right-handed pitching, I want to say.
They need a
So,
lefty bad. They need a
yeah.
lefty bad, and Ian's a switch hitter, obviously, but most of his at bats come lefty, so you can just classify him as a lefty as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I'm with you. I think Mets go for Contreras still, since they're out of the Soto sweepstakes allegedly. Um, yeah, I think those teams make a lot of sense, and I guess we can just pivot to Juan Soto. I don't think he'll get traded, and I think it's one of those things where the Nationals are like, okay, we want this. You're going to give us this or you're not getting him. No negotiation. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know
No,
if the
yeah.
teams have enough or quite frankly, the balls to do it.
Especially mid-season.
hmm
That's why I think it feels kind of Chris Sale White Sox at the end of his tenure, where I know obviously it's not going to be as big of a package, but it just feels very like no team is willing to give up that big of a package mid-season, but in the off-season, it like as soon as they have time to reevaluate their team and their organization and how much depth they have and stuff like that, I think it's more plausible to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think a team would trade for him without knowing they could extend him, obviously, because it's
Uh-huh.
just stupid to trade that many people for half a year.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to be nuts. But I do think the Nationals stick with him just because they're not going to get exactly what they want. And it sucks if that happens because a Juan Soto midseason trade would be one of the greatest things in the
Nuts.
world.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My prediction, I do think he stays. But if he doesn't stay, I think he's going to the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals make a lot of sense, and I think they have the guys to do it. Obviously, the Nationals want a ton of prospects, but they also want controllable major league ready players, so they know they're not taking a risk. And
Mhm.
Dylan Carlson is that guy. He
Yeah,
is
I
a
was
super controllable, major league ready, established, good outfielder. Young
and
as well,
maybe
obviously.
even a Nolan Gorman too.
That would be a great move by them if they can get them two and maybe like Libertor. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a decent haul. That's a
And
really decent haul.
they'll probably even get a couple others too. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
maybe not to
absolutely.
the top tier, but yeah, which
Yeah,
is
so
ridiculous.
they're gonna get a huge haul if he does get traded. But yeah, I don't know if he does. Um, I guess we'll just bounce around teams that have been up and in the trade deadline discussions. The Yankees. Um, I think Luis Castillo might as well put on a Yankees hat. I just think
Yeah,
it's guaranteed.
like I said earlier, I completely agree with that, honestly. It just comes down to whether or not someone jumps them or what kind of package Cincinnati gets back. It feels like they've been dangling Maley and Castillo for forever. I mean,
Mm,
it feels like the time is right now. I mean, who who else makes any other sense? I mean, I guess the Dodgers are never always a threat. You can never really count them out, but I feel like the Yankees have more of a need, and I think they're going to be pushing the issue more.
yeah, yeah, I would say so. I think the Reds need to trade Castillo, Maley, and Drury, no doubt.
Drury, especially.
Brandon Drury is having a fantastic year. I mean, he's not going to get better than this though. It's not like
He's
he's like some young, exciting guy. Like
he
I don't
feels
know.
like a ticking time bomb forever. Who trades for him? Honestly,
Yeah,
he
I
I
think
think
he'll
he's
be
the
good for
Adam
this
Frazier
year.
at the deadline.
He could be. That's a fall off. Holy cow! Oh, you don't
Yeah,
even hear about him anymore. Um, but I think that makes a lot of sense for them. Bullpen help also with King going down for an extended period of
nasty
time.
injury. Yeah,
Yeah, very gross and sucks for him because
yeah, I'm a fan of him.
he's nasty. Um, Trying to think of anyone. I mean, I think I've heard Quintana rumors to the Yankees. That would be interesting.
I heard also the Twins are interested and the White Sox are interested in Quintana, so he's a hot commodity right now. I
He's having
mean,
a good year.
feels like 2017 all over again, but yeah.
He's having a good year. I mean, if the White Sox are interested in him, you doing Eloy and Cease?
Of course.
Yeah, he's gonna. It's gonna be interesting where he goes. Kind of happy for him. A little
Mhm.
resurgence. Um, I want to talk about the Angels real quick, or do I? Because This team they've been the worst team in baseball the last month.
It's crazy. I mean, for the difference between the podcast we would have in April and May and now, I I don't know if I should victory lap or feel bad.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, just everything in general. Like even today with the Mike Trout in the back news, like I
Hmm.
feel like nothing's gone right for them in a couple months besides Shohei having that little month run where he was untouchable. But everything else, I mean, it's the sky is falling right now in Anaheim.
Yeah, and Syndergaard needs to go. They have this dude for
Oh
one
yeah,
year. They need to get whatever they can for him. And
yes, someone would trade for him instantly for sure.
absolutely, I mean, he's not having a great year, but he's an established good big league pitcher, and I think he could
Yeah,
be a very sneaky addition to a team like him to the Twins. Like that would be an addition that is good for them. And
it feels very Twins like too.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Maybe even the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays need pitching. We said it over and over, and they kind of tried to accommodate that with Kikuchi, and
And he
then
has not been good.
no, and then Ryu is out, and
Yeah, Urias.
Barrios is just terrible.
Yeah, I've been kind of a Barrios hater too,
Yeah,
so
I
I
know.
feel bad, but I mean, I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense for them. I mean, even the White Sox, it would make a little bit of sense for
Yeah,
personally, but I don't know what kind of package that would entail.
I mean he's
Um,
on a 1 year deal. It shouldn't be
yeah,
much.
yeah. So I mean, it's a possibility. I don't know. It's there's a few other teams. I mean, you never know. Maybe the Cardinals or something like that could pick him up.
Yeah, for sure. I
Him on the
think
Yankees would be weird.
that would be disgusting.
Yeah,
But yeah, the Cardinals, I think are going to get a good pitcher like a Paul Blackburn or a Syndergaard. Do you think Carlos Rodon's available?
he shouldn't be. I mean, I know the Giants are on a bit of a skid, but I mean, I feel like they're right there in it. I mean, I don't see a reason to just kind of throw in the towel now.
Hmm.
They're 48 and 50 as it stands, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that they could make a run. You know, I think they have the talent. Um, I mean, they are a progressive organization, so I guess I could see a world where him and Jock are both available. But I mean, if I'm them, I try to extend him.
See, I personally think the Giants are just not good. Who on offense are you scared of besides Jock Peterson right now?
That's true. I think they're just a team that rules the platoons a little bit. So their
Hmm.
names aren't necessarily the scariest, but just the splits are good on most of the guys that they play. But I mean, I also was a bit of a hater of them last year, so I I kind of believe in them a little more just because of I've seen what they can do as a team, but I don't know. I just feel like they still have a shot. I don't think they're necessarily going to make a push, but I think that they're not far away enough for them to be sellers at this point.
Yeah, I don't think they're far away enough to have the pride or to put
Yeah.
aside the pride to sell Rodon, even though I think they don't have a chance at making the playoffs, to be honest with you, because, okay, you have the division winners, right?
Mhm.
I don't see them beating the Padres, the Braves,
Okay.
or the Mets, whoever doesn't win the division,
Mhm.
and the Cardinals, just for starters. I could
Okay.
even maybe see the Phillies being ahead of the Giants.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. I mean, they're behind all those teams right now, so
Hmm.
that's for sure. I mean, I I don't know. Before this skid, I would have said it for sure no, but you're kind of convincing me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's just
Um,
like different people aren't doing that well. Like,
yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but like Doval, like I thought he was going to be a top three reliever. I think he's had a little bit of a rough year.
Yeah, he has. Well, he definitely hasn't been what he was supposed to be. Uh, I mean, besides that, I think they definitely should trade Jock because I mean he's as good as he's ever gonna be because he's not what he's playing like right now, if you know what I mean. He
Yeah,
Duvall's been fine actually this year, but
yeah. I
he
think he
hasn't been
started off really
dominant by any
slow.
means. Yeah. But besides that, I Yeah, I don't think Jock is what he's playing like, so I think they could definitely get something for him because left-handed bats don't really come often, obviously. So a team like the Blue Jays would make a lot of sense for him, um, especially in the AL. But I don't know
I
why I
just don't
said
think
that.
they. I just don't think they do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I mean, I just feel like even if they were to be sellers, I don't see a reason to get rid of Rodon when they could probably sign him in the offseason.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. Um, I want to talk a little bit about as of yesterday, not as of today. I don't really know how it worked out yet.
Hmm.
Um, the Red Sox are in last place as of yesterday.
Okay.
Do you sell Xander Bogarts?
Yes. Yes.
To
For
who?
sure. I don't think that
Who do you
that's
think?
the
If
real
if
question.
I think he would be coming to the Central. I think he would be a Cardinal, and it sucks because I think it's a possibility.
It makes the most sense. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, is there a chance? Nah, I don't think so. I was thinking maybe the Brewers because they like their rentals like that,
Mm-hmm.
just in the past. But I don't see them probably making a move for him. Possibly the Phillies. The Phillies make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think they've yeah. Didn't I send a tweet that the
you
Phillies were
did,
actually yeah? So the Phillies are another good one.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, maybe sneaky the Padres, sneaky.
yeah. Where would you play him when Tatis comes back?
Probably short. I mean, do they believe in Tatis playing short? I haven't really seen much on that
I
because
don't
I know
know,
they're
but
playing
I
him in the
do.
infield. I mean, I do too. I just don't. I don't know if they do or not. They seem like they were kind of on the border about that a little bit, but um, besides that, I mean, I'm just trying to find teams that make sense. But I mean, could you see a team like? I mean, I don't know.
I don't.
Uh,
Yeah, there's probably a slim market for
teams with
contending teams that
do you
need that position.
do you think there's a chance that he moves to second base for another team possibly?
I mean, why wouldn't he? If he was getting
Yeah,
traded to a contending team, yo, can you play second? Sure, why not?
yeah. Because that could, I mean, that could make a team like, I mean, I'm not going to speculate, but I mean, it can make a team like the White Sox interested potentially, or I mean, the Dodgers or something like that. I mean, you never like it opens up a lot more possibilities if he can play second base.
Yeah,
So, I mean, the Braves don't have Ozzy Albies, so I mean, who knows? You know,
imagine that.
that would be
I
pretty
think
sick.
I think they're gonna go for an outfielder, another low key outfielder because Duval is out. I think for the rest of the year,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. So that sucks. But good thing they have right now the leading NL Rookie of the Year in Michael Harris. I don't think he'll win. I truly do think it's going to be Morel or Suzuki, non-biased.
I think it
But
honestly might be Spencer Strider, but
I think that's another good one. I love that guy. Where do
Mhm.
these guys come from?
Yeah, I know, right?
Because the Braves have just so many pitchers. Like
Yeah.
we tend to forget that Soroka is just chilling, waiting to come back. And that dude was the second coming of Jesus when he was healthy.
They've had Spencer Strider, Ian Anderson, Max Fried, and Soroka all come up through their system.
Although
I
Ian
don't think.
Anderson is terrible now.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying
Yeah, no,
he's
he
had
had a
success in the
he.
past.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and those are all homegrown guys. I don't know if they were all. I don't think they were all drafted by them, but they all came up through their system. So
It's crazy. It's
yeah,
crazy. But yeah, Strider is another really good option because I do like him, but I do think Morel leads all rookies in OPS, at least in the
yeah.
NL.
I'm
Um,
actually a huge fan of him. I really
yeah,
am.
yeah, he's been a very big bright spot. I mean, without him, he's probably been. I think he's been the best player on the Cubs since he came up. Um, and yeah, no, he's super exciting. Um, I think he's here for the long haul, which is good because he wasn't a guy that people talked about. He was
Mhm.
our 24th, I want to say, ranked prospect, and it just goes to show you like the prospects are just as good as the lottery sometimes. You know what I mean? Like you really never know
Yeah.
what you're gonna get. Um, So it's exciting to see someone like him turn out because he he's the light in a very dark time.
Speaking of dark times, the Guardians took the lead over the Red Sox and won. That hurts a little bit.
Yeah, I was watching that game. Um,
I just saw it now. I turned it off before we started recording. Um,
they were up big, and then the Red Sox came back, and then Guardians took the
yeah,
lead. The Red Sox tied it up.
I saw Big Bob to hit a couple dingers.
Yeah, yeah.
The Mets walked off the Yankees also. Starling Marte.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, they needed that game.
Oh, breaking news: Yankees are getting Benintendi.
Oh wow, yeah. Hey, there you go.
Wow.
First news we've ever broke on the pod. Anthony Benintendi.
For 3 minor leaguers.
Three
Interesting.
minor leaguers. I'd like to know who, but I guess. I mean,
Right. That's how they make up for getting swept in the Subway Series. Wow, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Um, I did think there was a really good shot he went there. We were hearing a lot of rumors. Not surprising. Good for
Joey
Kansas
Gallo
City.
goes to the bench.
Hopefully. Yeah, Kansas City needs to trade everyone that's under the
Yeah.
age 30, 31. I mean,
Whit Merrifield, is this the year? I feel like everyone's been saying this since 2017, 2018.
he's got to go.
Like for once, like just take advantage of him. I mean, he's gotten worse every year ever since,
Hmm.
and his value's not going to get any higher. I mean, why not just trade him? But besides that, I mean, they don't have much talent on their team. I know they traded Santana, right?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
the Mariners.
Mariners. Yeah, yeah.
I do
I
like some of the guys on their team. Obviously Bobby Witt, but I do like Vinny P. He's fun to watch. Um, and Keller has been decent, pitching wise,
He's
but he has
always decent.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like they just need to trade everyone that's not going to be there for the future. Although I don't think they have that bright of a future for now, especially in the Central. Like I think in like the White Sox are the like the White Sox are the team right now. I still think, but the Guardians might take a hold of this
Overtake.
division in like 3 years and have a stranglehold on it.
It's going to be
Um,
a really tough division in a couple years, I think, personally. Because I think the Tigers, I know they've been very disappointing, but they still have a future, I think. They're just
yeah, I would agree.
they might have fumbled their big signings so far. I mean, it's kind of the outlook isn't too great on it, but I don't think Javi's a horrible player, you know, and I don't think Eduardo Rodriguez is what he's been. So
Well,
I
he
don't know.
hasn't been anything. He hasn't pitched in how long?
Yeah, I
He's like
know,
not
but
even picking up their phone calls. Like
I
the
did see
the
that.
the Tigers are getting screwed. They haven't had Mize, they haven't had Manning, they haven't had Rodriguez. That's three quality starters.
Can we talk about why they would even be remotely considering trading Scuball or anyone?
Dude, they have how many years of control does he have? He has a decent amount. It makes no sense.
3 or 4, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they would consider that. I mean, they could probably get some good stuff for him, but why not just keep him?
it
Because
doesn't
you're
make
just gonna
sense.
get a bunch of guys that you're hoping are gonna be as good as him.
He's a good pitcher.
Yeah,
He's not
an ace, but
he's not an
he's
ace, but he's looked really good. I just wanted to read um about Benintendi because he's not vaccinated. Um, it's unknown whether he'll change his mind with the possibility of playing the Blue Jays in the playoffs. Imagine that. Imagine they trade for Benintendi. They have to play the Blue Jays in the playoffs, and he can't play there.
that would suck. I mean, that would just be a waste.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it's not like the playoffs are an issue for them right now. It's what they do in the playoffs. So
I do think they would have finalized like you're gonna get vaccinated if we trade for you, um, because it's too big of a risk.
yeah,
They didn't trade him for help in the regular season. They traded him for a good bat in the playoffs. And if you can't have him in, I mean, it's very possible they play the Blue Jays. So
yeah.
I think they would have finalized it. Like
Do you
we're
think
not signing him.
that lowers guys trade value, them not being vaccinated? Like it
Um,
affects anything?
I don't think it does for NL players. Um, I don't think it does actually.
Okay.
I feel like we might be nearing a point where you don't even need to be vaccinated anymore. Maybe. Um, but I don't know. What do you think? I don't think it would lower their value that much.
I think for playoff teams in the AL, it definitely could come up in discussions. I think it really depends. It's a case to case basis, depending on the player. But I forgot which player it was, but someone said if they were traded to a contender that they would consider getting vaccinated. I forget if it was Whit Merrifield or someone else, but yeah, I think it definitely comes up. But for a team like the Yankees, I mean, I would definitely bring it up for sure because they have to go there to play in the regular season too a lot. So
Yeah, I
uh,
would agree.
they already
So,
interviewed Aaron Judge about him. Said it will give us a real pump up for sure. So I do you think Gallo's getting traded, or do you think they're just going to hold on to him and bench him?
I think you should get traded. I think you. I am not ready to write off Joey Gallo. I am not ready to
Me
say
either.
he's a good player anymore. But I'm not ready to completely write off this guy.
Hmm.
Just change the scene, change the scenery, see what happens. It's not working in New York. He even has the best hitting conditions in New York. He has the shortest right field that you could possibly get, and it's not helping.
It's
Just
all
trade
up
him.
here.
It is. So
Uh,
that's why change of scenery is a real thing. Baseball
yeah,
is almost all mental.
I think he's the perfect player for a non-contending team to target for a flyer. Personally, I think he's a good player for the Tigers to target. I mean, if I was the Royals, I would have honestly considered taking him over minor leaguers, just because the upside is there. You've seen him do it before. It's just he needs a change of scenery, and who knows what he could be. He could be easily back to his old self in a heartbeat. I mean, I don't. I think it's definitely not all mental. I think there's definitely some mechanical adjustments he could probably make. But I mean, if for a team who's not contending, I don't see a reason that they wouldn't try to trade for him.
Yeah, and I don't see a reason why the Yankees wouldn't try to trade him.
Yeah,
Um, they have too many people, and it's just worth it to just let him go. But yeah, I mean, is there? I guess we can talk about some other people. Like some one thing that was interesting that was brought up was Josh Bell, and
okay.
thinking about potential suitors for Josh Bell, who has been one of the best switch hitters in the league this year. I think the Brewers make a lot of sense for him, and I think because the Brewers need a bat, we know this. We've been saying it forever.
Yeah,
I think Josh Bell makes a lot of sense for them. What other teams do you think he would fit? Because I feel like the Nationals need to trade him 100%. I mean,
they
he's riding
should.
way too high of a high right now. He's a really good player now, but it's the Nationals. You got to
He's
trade
having
him.
his best season since his rookie year. I want to say.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, besides that, the Astros make a lot of sense for sure. Uh, I mean, the Mariners. No, wait, they got Santana. This makes
yeah,
sense. Uh, I mean, there's not a lot of teams that need a first baseman because first base is such a different
yeah.
position. I think the Guardians make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, besides that, I think that's really it.
Yeah,
Honestly,
but I think he needs to go regardless.
Padres.
Padres are possible. Padres are
They're always
possible,
looking to
except they
add.
wouldn't be able to trade Hosmer in that deal.
Yeah, I don't know what you really do with that. I mean, you don't want
Yeah,
him playing. That's the
yeah,
thing. Like, he's just a sitting duck. Like, he's
yeah.
just he's a
He's the
sitting duck
Hayward.
hitting
He's the
ground
Hayward of the
balls.
Padres.
Yeah,
It's literally
he's just.
like, okay, this guy hits it into the ground every at bat, but we're paying him, and we can't really not play him.
They should start letting him use a fungo. Like maybe maybe he'll lift the ball a little more.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't buy into that whole .400 batting average the first month. Good for him,
No,
but come on, Ka. Like
not a
this,
chance.
it's not working. Is there anything specific you wanted to bring up?
I wanted to bring up the starting pitching market, honestly. Uh,
Okay.
just maybe throw some predictions for guys like Frankie Montas, Tyler Mahle, Paul Blackburn, maybe even a Tarek Skubal.
All right. I think Blackburn fits really well with the Cardinals. Um, if they want to make a bigger move, I don't think Blackburn would cost that much. Um, so I think he makes a lot of sense there. Um, I do see Montas going to the Dodgers
Okay.
because I think I think he's obviously one of the upper echelon of starting pitchers that are available, and I don't think Luis Castillo is going there. So I do think the Dodgers are going to take him. Um, I haven't really thought about someone like Malley. Um, I mean, just think about contenders. The Astros could use a pitcher. Like, do
Yeah.
you want Odorizzi going out every couple like he's put it together a
If
decent year, but come on
if
now.
I'm another AL team, yes, but
Yeah.
them no.
I mean with no
Uh,
Lance McCullers either, it's yeah, they could go for like someone maybe for cheap if they can find them.
Zach Plesac, maybe I don't know what his price would be.
The problem is I do you think the Guardians cuz like the Guardians are kind of contending.
I know that's why I was confused when I saw that report, but I
Yeah.
mean maybe they feel like they have an excess of guys. I mean,
I don't think Plesac is particularly good.
no, he's nothing special,
I don't
but
think his
I think
ceiling
he's
is too high.
I think he's better than Odorizzi.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, I think the floor is already established, and I think the ceiling is just not too high, but it's a good guy to have.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't mind him. I don't think he's anything special, but I think he's also a guy who could help a team.
yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, I haven't thought about Mally. I don't know. Maybe Mariners.
Yeah, makes sense. I was thinking Mally or Montas for the Mariners.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the Mariners are due for a big move, um, especially with how they've been playing and J Rod.
Mm-hmm. The
I'm
J
making
Rod
it
show.
mandatory to never judge a rookie in their first month of baseball.
Yeah,
You saw J Rod struggle. You saw Bobby Witt struggle. You saw Rutschman struggle. You saw you see all these guys struggle. And then
yeah,
it's adjustments. And J Rod legitimately could be a top 10 player in the next couple of years. Like
yeah.
he's
I,
he's
I,
insane.
I think he honestly might be like a top 30 now.
I would
So
say top 30 position or you going including pitchers.
position, I
Okay.
can't. I would like say like top 50 player
I mean, he's
just to
been
be
playing like
safe.
it. He's
Yeah,
been playing like he's unbelievable, but um yeah, I mean, I guess we're just waiting for stuff to happen.
yeah,
Um I'm waiting for Contreras and Hap to go and all the others just to see what we get. Because once I see what we get and we could evaluate it, because losing Javi Baez was hard, right? But when you realize what we got for him, it's like great move. It's
hmm
I don't it makes you miss them a little less. Um I think PCA is going to be a stud, and he's moving up faster than we thought. He might be with us in 2023 at the end.
yeah,
I think he'll start actually cementing himself in 2024. That's a very exciting guy, and to see the way Javi's been playing, I mean, it's a no doubter. And I think the Mets made a mistake. Um, John Heyman just tweeted the Blue Jays were trying for Benintendi too. Presumably, teams have been under the impression he will be vaccinated. So, like I was
okay,
saying, I do think they established that he would get vaccinated before they traded him. Blue Jays are okay. So if the Blue Jays are in on Benintendi, they're in on a good outfielder. Ian Happ might actually go there. That's
yeah.
interesting.
And it drove up his market a little bit too
It
because
did.
there's less guys to go around.
I do think Ian Happ might actually go there because if
So for
they actually showed that they're trying for a good outfielder.
mhm. And for Benintendi, they got the number 19, number 21, and then a guy who's not in the top 30 prospects.
Okay.
So that's a decent package for Benintendi because he's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
having his best year in years. So
Yeah, no, I mean Benintendi's not a superstar, and you never know what these guys will be. And
yeah,
for the Royals, I feel like it's just all about stocking up.
yeah.
Just
I
stock up
mean,
as many players as you can.
anything that makes them weaker when the White Sox come to play them, I'm on board for. So
I mean, it's not they can't get much weaker, but yeah, losing Benintendi does help a lot. But yeah, if there's nothing else you want to touch on, probably end
yeah,
it here.
yeah. I think that's Let's go. Nah, no, we could save that for another episode. All right, yeah, I think we're
All right,
good.
we'll record another one soon, right when the trade
Yeah,
deadline ends,
yeah.
to kind of recap everything. But thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great rest of your night.
Peace.
Peace.